Oh, hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, Places Binding by AFTERBIRTH Plus. Maybe you heard of this game, haha, we've used that joke about 100 times. Alright, so we're on challenges. Purist, oh, I remember. The Purist was, this is the last one until we have to do our second pass of challenges, which will probably take a break in between. If I remember correctly, it's just no item rooms, XBVFGL38. And I seem to recall cursing the name of the Purist many times. I seem to remember like a Newmanian-esque Purist would cross my lips whenever I thought about this challenge, but it's been years. You know, Rebirth came out in October or November 2014. It's been almost 3 years since I've done most of these challenges. I do not recall why. Like a jilted ex-lover. All those emotions have dulled with time and faded, and I don't understand why I was mad at this challenge. Maybe we'll, you know, discover anew why this was so annoying. Oh, you better be scared. You honestly should be afraid. Previously, I was gonna open the Mimic because we looked like we would probably not have Spirit Hearts getting in the way. Now that we have Spirit Hearts, I don't really want to invest in the Mimic at the cost of our own, you know, self-preservation, especially if we could possibly get deals with the devil in the future. If we can get deals with the devil in the future, I want to basically lean on those. Because no item rooms, it should hold us back, to be honest with you. It should make things harder. However, excuse me, sir. Sorry, did I say no deals with the devil? No item rooms should debilitate this run. They should make the run slightly more difficult. However, if it only goes to Mom's heart, missing item rooms shouldn't be that bad as long as we can get a deal with the devil that provides us with really like any forward momentum. And the same kind of goes for boss rooms. Like if we can get a boss room item that gives us, for example, a Tears upgrade, I think we're off to the races. Not enough to guarantee a win for certain, but enough to, you know, we bought a lottery ticket at that point at the very least. Good, 5 cents is where I wanted to be. And you know what? Bad use of a bomb, but I think my heart was in the right place there. That's not the only thing that matters, but my heart was in the right place. All we gotta do now, play it cool. We get an ability to fly after this. It should give us a good chance on the next floor. So if we don't get boss items, I'm gonna die. Because I thought that might be the crux of the Purist challenge, is that you just get no items ever. There might also be no shops, now that I think about it. Well, no, that's either a library or a shop. I guess we should be more clear. Let's go back and check on that, because if it's a library, we might be interested in invested in its abilities. Plus, I mean, come on, free bomb that we totally could have gotten earlier, but for some reason I didn't. Anyway, it's already open. How did we do that? It is a shop. So I think, actually, at this point, the pony is like a pretty amazing upgrade for us. We should be relatively pleased. I don't remember what we get for the Purist. I think after we finish this run, might do a few like normal runs, greed, daily, I don't know. You know, something along these lines. Just because the challenges, I mean, doing 20 of them in a row, roughly. I know we still have one left, like number 19, I don't remember what it is, but let's not talk like this one's already done, by the way, but it's a lot of like gimmicky runs all in a row. I kind of miss the inherent zane of a tabula rasa, like blank slate Isaac run. NL, did you use tabula rasa simply because, you know, it's the name of a video game from your past? The answer to that question is yes. It's the only reason I know what tabula rasa means. You are correct. I do not know Latin. I barely know JavaScript. Don't even get me started on this. Dude, so this isn't about programming, but I actually firmly believe, I wouldn't say genetically, but like cognitively, oh dude, we're so in such a good position here. Let's go for it, even though we already have a passive ability, or an active ability to fly, because now we can get a better active item and be off to the races. But I think my brain is broken visually. You watch me play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and you go, how's this guy so blind? You watch me, you know, make art in Passepartout, and you go, how's this guy so bad? I don't know why. I don't know, you know, I think I've told this story about how apparently my vision was terrible as a child, but I had this doctor who was like 80 years old, and he was like, oh, you know, he'll probably never be a fighter pilot, but he doesn't need glasses. Turns out, Thanks a lot, buddy. I did need glasses. When I went to see the eye doctor in, like, 5th grade, he was like, how is your child not flunking out of school? Like, I was actually doing pretty well, despite the fact that I couldn't really see the blackboard. Chalkboard, whatever. We didn't have whiteboards back in the day, you know? I didn't go to the Mark Zuckerberg school for kids who can read good. Anyway. Kids who can read well. Superman reads good. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe my brain was just like, he's not using his eyes too much, so we'll put that towards, you know, linguistic aptitude or something like that. But I don't think we need anything here. But the whole reason I bring that up is because I've been doing this online course to learn front-end development. It's called Free Code Camp, and I would highly recommend it, especially if you've got experience in any other programming language, including HTML or CSS. I'm coming from a fairly, I would say, intermediate, good foundational knowledge of object-oriented programming, and it's been nice to do, but a lot of it is front-end stuff, like, hey, make this and make it look pretty. I cannot do it. And then I can't do it easily, I should say, because I don't want to limit myself necessarily. I think it's going to be a harder skill to learn. I'm just naturally, like, basically garbage at it. Luckily, I've got, you know, talented people around me who can help me out with stuff like that. Michael A.L. Fox has got an eye for design. I don't know why I said it as if I was loath to compliment him, you know? We're old friends, but he's got an eye for design, no question. I think I'm more the guy behind the scenes. I'm not the guy you send, you know, to do the presentation. I'm the guy who's more like, well, yeah, you see, you got your subscript algorithm incorrect here. You should be using the, you know, the @ method because it checks for bounds automatically. Whenever I make something in Free Code Camp, it looks like it's actual trash. It looks like a computer program from, like, what people thought computer programs would look like in the year 2000 when they were making movies in, like, 1960. Like, everything is just, like, one horrible color in the background and then a big old button that says, like, go. And then they click it and the screen just fills with nonsense characters. That's pretty much me. But I don't know, I'm being, like, half sincere when I say that maybe when I was younger and I didn't get glasses when I should have, probably, despite going to the family doctor. My mom, you know, I have fairly vivid memories of my mom being like, he doesn't seem like he sees that well. And the doctor just, you know, old school, like, probably World War II veteran guy, you know, was just like, you know, we don't want to give him glasses, the kids will make fun of him. Joke's on you, doctor. I went to a very progressive high school, and you're probably dead, because when you were my family doctor, you were already, like, 80. I'm not saying I wish he's dead. I mean, he had a medical license. I'm assuming he was pretty good at his job, for the most part. Just should have sent me to the optometrist a little earlier. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, maybe my brain was just like, he doesn't need this anymore. I wonder about that sometimes, because visually, it's kind of hard, because in Battlegrounds, like, everybody sees everything unless they're the one in control of the camera. Because the person in control of the camera's got, like, different things on their mind. They're like, I'm gonna die, right? But still, I'm like, sometimes I go back and watch footage of the shows, and I'm like, am I blind? And what do I do about it? Gonna need, like, brain surgery. Like, can you insert more brain into the visual part? But you know what? It is our differences that make us strong as a society. I believe in that. I'm glad we don't have a monoculture. I'm glad there's idiots like me, visually speaking. I don't know what I was gonna tie that up with. I'm just glad there's idiots like me because I'm one of them, I suppose. But yeah, like, no, I mean, I am in no danger of ever... Wow, I can't believe he went over the man-made bridge there. That's pretty cool. I'm in no danger of taking your job as a front-end developer or graphic designer. There's no question about that. Let's just leave it at that. I don't know what I'm... I'm very lucky that YouTube and Twitch exist, because my skill set is uniquely well-shaped to do that. I can get lost in a video game for hours at a time, relatively apt at talking to myself over and over, and luckily, you know, born in the right time. So I'll tell you, if I was born in, like, you know, the 1920s, I don't know what, I'd try to, like, be a assistant manager at a speakeasy or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. 2 a dime. So let's pop it, because we should, like... Having money on this challenge is a very important thing. I don't think I want... Let's pop this. I don't think I want to have, magic fingers. Just because I don't think it matters, to be honest with you. I don't think Magic Fingers is good enough to get rid of the pony's active effect. Unless we get mega rich and our damage is awesome. Why did we teleport right there? Did I touch the... I must have touched the chest at, like, the exact time that this went down. Okay, bad trip. That's horrible. Balls of Steel more than makes up for it, but I'm still kind of cheesed, if I'm being honest with you. So we'll blow this up. I don't know why I'm looking at this and I'm like, are we going to make boss rush? Yo, this ain't about a boss rush. You've got a good run going on Purist. That's like where you just shut up and ride this bad boy till the end, because, like, straight up, this is a gift from above. We got some very good items defensively. Offensively, I mean, we got good damage, good rate of fire. Not 10 out of 10, but probably like in the 7s or 8s. When you consider Magic Mush plus our tiers upgrade. So I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers by saying it's a 7 or an 8. I'm talking about a Harvard 7. You know, I wouldn't know what that means because I didn't go to an Ivy League school. Because, you know, I'm Canadian, so... I mean, first off, I wouldn't have gotten in. I was a kid in high school, I was like, I mean, this now sounds braggadocious, but I would like... I'm just gonna get A's. I kind of like the Canadian education system. I feel, if you're an American high school student right now, I actually kind of feel bad for you. I mean, I don't feel bad as a 28-year-old because you have your youth, you know, and I don't, or it's fading, so, you know, enjoy that. However, me as like a 16-year-old feels bad for you, because if you're a Canadian and you're probably going to go to a Canadian university, pretty much all you got to do is get A's. If you can get, like, all A's, or, like, 90% A's and a couple B's, you're gonna be fine over the course of your high school career. You can get in anywhere in Canada, basically. Almost any program. Probably not quite any program, but almost any program. Admittedly, I mostly only have... well, I have a few American friends who are, you know, my peers at that age. And then I have, you know, American media that I watch. But I know one of my friends, in Canada, at least when I went to school in the province I went to, our advisors told us, like, 98% of your application process was the marks that you got in the 11th grade. And then, like, 2%, academically speaking, was, like, the marks that you got in the first semester of 12th grade. One of my friends I was talking to, he was, like, 3rd in his class, and he's a genius. He's an actual, like, literal doctor now. He was like, yeah, I can't get valedictorian at my school because I got a B in 9th grade. It's like, what? That's kind of a lot of pressure to put on a 13-year-old. Hey, we're gonna, like, this is a new era for you. You know, you're gonna be interacting with your peers. You're gonna be small fish in a big pond again. By the way, you got a B+ in gym, so I'm sorry, but you've ruined your academic career at this institution. Not to say that you've ruined it if you're, you know, not becoming a valedictorian. But yeah, he was like, well, I basically can't get into Harvard, Yale, or, you know, any of these Ivy Leagues, so I gotta aim a peg lower. Dude's average in high school was like 98. And I think it's good and bad, you know? Because I'm gonna be straight up with you. If you're in high school, you're not gonna like what I'm about to say, and you're gonna rebuke it, and I would have rebuked it as well. But I firmly agree with what I'm about to say regardless. It's getting a little framey there, huh? You have, most of you, if you look at like a base high school student, you got so much free time. And I'm pretty rich coming from me, I'll admit. But at the same time, you don't realize. Like, your life fills up really fast. Especially as you become an adult, you know? Not even, like, let's assume you work in a job where you have set hours, you know? That's like, you say it's 35 hours a week, but really, it's not 35 hours a week. Because you've also got to, you know, go to bed at a certain time, get up at a certain time, commute, you know, get ready for work. Like, as soon as you wake up, if you wake up at 6 a.m., you got to be to work at 8 a.m., you don't get 2 hours of free time before work. That's work time. You got to shower, you know, you got to get in your car, you got to drive there. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying that's how it is. And then, you know, you have a spouse, you're spending time with your spouse, you know, that's at least a few hours a day for most people. I'm not complaining again, I'm not saying that eats up your free time, I'm just saying, you know, it's an obligation for better and for worse that you got to keep in mind. And then if you got a hobby, you ever wonder why it's like, if you're an adult, it's impossible to get people together. Even to do, like, recordings for YouTube, it's impossible. We go, like, Mathis and I were supposed to meet, like, 36 minutes ago to record some Escapists. And he was like, can I delay it by an hour? And I was like, I don't know, I got obligations tonight. You know, I got to go grocery shopping. We got these dinners that are going to go bad. I got to cook them. you know, Kate and I are gonna go see a movie or something like that. Please take this. And then he's like, okay, how about Friday? And I was like, no, Friday we got the Battlegrounds thing that we gotta record, so I can't do Friday. And I'm like, how about Thursday? And he's like, no, Thursday I got my own stuff. Like, life fills up fast. And as a teenager, you don't have all those responsibilities. So, most people at least. Now, some of you might be in like a difficult family situation, or, you know, you gotta take care of your brothers and sisters or something like that. But on average, I'd say that's not the norm. Not that I'm telling you, you know, how to live your life. That's the item we're looking for right there. We will take that. So it's good, I think, to keep kids occupied, you know? Or keep young adults occupied. Give them things that kind of push them out of their comfort zone and encourage them to generate new skills, for example. On the other hand, I also, you know, I struggle with the idea that kids should be kids. You know, maybe we shouldn't be overloading kids with homework like crazy. And oh, by the way, if you ever want to get into like a B-tier Ivy League school, you ever want to go to Brown, no offense if you go to Brown, I mean, this is a better school than I went to. And if you're watching this and you're going, oh, excuse me, we're one of the top, you know, schools in Canada. I know. I didn't go to a bad school. I'm not insulting the, you know, the tartan shades of Queen's University. Oilthine a Bannergan K.A., you know? You taught me Gaelic, at least, you know, 4 or 5 words of it. But, like, that's tough for a kid to be, oh, sorry, I can't be a kid tonight. I gotta go to, like, you know, I don't know, what do teenagers do these days? Calligraphy class. I gotta do 8 years of calligraphy class so I'm not lying on my entrance essay that I write to try to get into... I'm trying to think of other non-Harvard, Yale, Princeton is probably an Ivy League. Plus, we all know it's about Caltech anyway, like... I don't know anything about Caltech. Except that Alex from Modern Family wanted to go there in one of the last seasons that I wouldn't say watched, but like it was on while I was in the same room. It's like that show started real nice and then it just got a little, like, couple seasons in. It was just like every character's got their own little beat they have to hit every single episode. Anyway, I digress. We're on Sister Viz. We're actually crushing this run. This is a joke run for Purist. We have not needed any item rooms because our shops and deals with the devil have, like, predominantly been extremely good. So we'll finally use our deal with the devil here. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to get Book of Belial, but I actually just don't really think it's necessary. Plus, I kind of like having Krampus's head. It's going to allow us to easily, like, cheese up these bosses, and I think that, I have a hard time believing that we're going to lose this one. With 2 floors remaining here. And this will be a nice, like, capstone to our challenges here. We did lose a couple of challenges on the first pass, but I think that's relatively okay. One of them, if I remember correctly, I basically threw away for no reason, so I do kind of owe myself a... What's the opposite of a debt of gratitude? It's like a credit of ignorance, something like that. What's the opposite of gratitude? Gratitude is when you're thankful for something. It's a debt of resentment. There you go. Plus sounds like a great name for, like, a Titus Andronicus album. It can come after A More Perfect Union. Kind of dated myself on the hipster scale. I think that album's from, like, 2008. Great album, though, dude. Great album. Lead singer's got a beard like Richard Hammer as well. Okay. Where are we off to? We are... possibly going to be able to make the shop... I don't want to deal with these guys. Possibly going to be able to make the shop work. I will probably check the curse room as well. I mean, we're just hitting the obvious kind of touchstones at this point, because this is easy money. We'll grab this key, and we will grab this card. That can be the first title off of Credit of Gratitude, or Credit of Resentment. Debt of Resentment sounds way better, but... Credit of Resentment doesn't just say. Turns into like a DeviantArt account. Okay, so we definitely want Guppy's head. 12 out of 12 item. You can take that. Rewind it back. And at this point, to be honest with you, what I'm mostly looking for is an opportunity to either bust it wide open, which I don't think we're gonna have, or something to be a little zany on this one. Like, We can't really do this, but I was looking at that self-sacrifice room like, that could be fun. But we don't have enough HP to do that. Emperor cards would also be pretty sick. Mapping of any sort would be pretty sick. If we went outside with wet hair, we'd probably get pretty sick, or is that a myth? I don't know. Do you guys have myths that you have heard, like, reputable sources tell you are false, but you still cling to? Because that's one, like, I wouldn't say we get into arguments about it, but I have this discussion with Kate all the time, you know? She'll be like, you know, why are you going outside without a jacket on? You're gonna catch a cold. And I'm like, well, actually, it's spread by, you know, germs. It's not actually just being in an environment where you're cold. And then she goes, yeah, but being underdressed for the weather can, you know, inhibit your immune system and suppress it, and as a result leave you more open to infection. And I say, wait a minute, you weren't supposed to use knowledge against me. I'm supposed to be the one with the, you know, the infallible knowledge here, and here you are hitting me with facts, and then I put a coat on because I know what's good for me. But none of these are really good enough. Libra's kind of fun, but we'll save that for our future Zane, once we get whatever's unlocked in the Purist. But my parents were like that, you know, I have to go back in time here because it's when I had hair, but okay, well that's like really fair, really appreciate that. They were like, you know, you have to dry off your hair before you go outside, and I was like, that's not the way, that's not how it works. But they adhered to it regardless. I'm kind of that way with swimming, to be honest with you. Apparently it is, and don't quote me on this, because if you die, I don't want to be held responsible. But apparently the wait 30 minutes before getting into the pool, because you'll cramp up, truism is not a truism at all. It's actually an old wives' tale. But definitely, in my head, I'm still like, would I go into the pool right after swimming? No, not necessarily because I think I'm going to die, but because, you know, I'm worried I'm going to cramp up and be uncomfortable. So I think everybody's got some like that. I kind of feel that way about, like, home remedies, too. Like, the one that gets me is drinking ginger ale when you're sick. I always drank ginger ale when I was sick. Now, ginger, I believe, can help, you know, boost your immune system. Now, I know, as soon as you say boost your immune system, it sounds like pseudoscience. And it may be. But I thought that ginger was, like, a real... For whatever reason, it's therapeutic in times of, you know, mild illness. That being said, most modern ginger ale, at least, you know, non-craft sodas, don't have any ginger in it. They got, like, ginger flavoring they made at the, you know, food factory in Mississauga, Ontario. Shout out to the former, you know, site of the Palladium. I kind of like Seven Seals. There used to be a Grey Tower. See, that's me trying to sing 7 times in a row, Kiss from a Rose as Seal. Not really gonna work, but still, when I get sick, I don't do it because I wanna, this is where I'm breaking my superstition and not passing it on to the next generation. But I am like, oh, dude, Chaos card, thank you. Whenever I'm sick, I'm like, I should get some ginger ale. Like, I know that it doesn't help, but it would feel really nice to have ginger. I think I just sometimes want to get sick as an excuse to consume ginger ale. And I don't know, I mean, Schweppes in Canada Dry, you guys have got your talents into me deep somehow. I don't know how you did it, but... Apparently, though, and we learned about this in school, which doesn't necessarily make it true, but it means that there's probably a source out there that somebody can point to. Apparently, though, chicken noodle soup when you have a cold or flu is actually, like, it has a mild, proven scientific benefit for whatever reason. Maybe, like, soup loosening mucus in your throat and alleviating symptoms or something like that, but something along those lines. I know, truth is stranger than fiction. I think people have these ideas that, you know, that home remedies are somehow purer than medicine, and sometimes that's maybe true and sometimes it's not. Like, one time Kate and I went out to dinner and I was clearly getting sick. Like, my voice was really hoarse. So when we paid, the server was like, by the way, you know, if you got a sore throat, I got the perfect remedy for you. And she basically gave me like a recipe off the top of her head that was like, well, a shot of whiskey, like half of a juiced lemon, black pepper, cayenne pepper, ginger, orange juice, and like a celery stalk. And I was like, Girl, this ain't Mardi Gras. I'm ill. I don't think that's, I mean, I do appreciate your desire to help another human being, but I'm at the same time a little bit incredulous, maybe because I'm a little bit of a jerk. What do I care about? Chaos card here. Like, what I need to do is go home, you know, get some sleep, stop spreading the virus that I have to other people, and, you know, take 2 days off or something like that, and then we're gonna be good. If anything, you should be, like, mad at me because I came to your restaurant with a mild cold. I could infect, like, the whole place, including yourself. If I infect you, you're gonna infect, like, 200 people because you have a forward-facing job. Yell at me! Not in, like, a weird, you know, kink-shaming sort of way. Anyway, dude, the Purist was actually, like, the easiest thing in the world here. We got Berkano, lovely rune, and we're done with the rebirth challenges on the first pass, at least. We got head trauma left to do. Oh, and then we got 2 more that and Suicide King, and then 2 more that we missed here that are not locked yet, or not unlocked yet. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed my rambling incoherence in this episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal, and of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.